Hey geeks, I'm Trey Guillotine, and I'm talking about Wonder Woman. Let's geek out. I kind of regret that it both took me a long time to finally go see Wonder Woman, finally having the opportunity to go see Wonder Woman, and also that it took me so long to make this video. It was actually a solidly good movie. So before I say anything else, I just want to take a moment to thank both Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, and Gal Gadot, who played Wonder Woman, and we already saw her in Batman vs. Superman, but finally seeing her in her role completely as Wonder Woman, finding out who Diana is, who Wonder Woman is, the things she stands for, the things she fights for, what her motivations are, learning just so much about her own character. Gal Gadot playing that really, I don't want to say innocent or naive character of Diana, but not as traveled as we've seen her in Batman vs. Superman. This is Diana right as she leaves Themyscira, right into the, basically discovering the whole world at once in the middle of the First World War. And it's not that she's innocent or naive, it's that she sees what needs to be done, she sees what she has to do, and she just does it. Which is a quality that, as portrayed in the movie, was very lacking in the war, and admittedly is lacking now. She wasn't one to talk about what she was going to do. She saw what she was going to do, and she was going to do it. Basically, you could describe the entire movie as people telling Diana, don't do the thing, and she says, no, I'm going to go do the thing, and then she's going to kick ass doing it. It wasn't a very complicated or complex story. It was about Diana searching for Ares, who she believed to be behind the destruction and the death of the First World War. And it's basically just about her finding Ares, going through different battlefields in World War I, searching for Ares with her little ragtag group, who also, each character was so individual and such strong characters, and so varied in culture, in ethnicity, in background. And there was a character who was a Native American who was the chief. There was another chief in Super Friends who was a superhero with the Justice League, who I'm thinking that they were supposed to be the same character, which again, really cool. But the action of the movie is what was really strong. Diana training to be an Amazon warrior, and then seeing the Amazons fighting off enemies on their own shore. The tactics they used, the style of fighting they had, was just really cool to see. And there's even a moment that, for me, this moment kind of stuck out a lot. In the beginning, when the Amazons are first going to war with their enemies, you see them use this tactic where a couple of Amazons, get under a shield, and they call a shield, and then another Amazon jumps on top of it, and they lift her up so that she can jump higher, and then drop in and attack an enemy fortress. Well, this carried over to a battle that they had in the World War I setting, where Diana's team, led by Steve Trevor, who saw that technique, did the same thing for her, and she could take out this sniper nest. And it was just really cool to see the tactics and the strategies that she had, as well as just seeing the Amazons kick ass in general, and Diana just kicking all kinds of ass. But there were just a couple of hang-ups that I had. For one, the same style of muted colors that they've had in the DC films that just look very dark and very brooding, which I don't like that style for these movies. For a Batman movie, sure, I can definitely see muted colors being a really big part of it, but for Superman or for Wonder Woman, it just doesn't work for me. Even though in this one, the colors weren't as muted when they were on Themyscira. It was a very bright, a very colorful place, but then when they get into the rest of the world during World War I, that's where the colors become very muted, and I get that it makes sense for that to be kind of a dark and grimy locale because it's World War I, but it's a common style that DC seems to be doing that I don't like. Also, while the story was pretty simple, it was also kind of predictable. The entire story is about Wonder Woman finding Ares, and Ares has become one of the characters that you meet throughout the movie. And when you're first introduced to the idea of Ares, you're given very specific descriptors. So half the time while I was watching the movie, I was wondering in my head which one was actually Ares. And it didn't take long for me to figure out who was Ares, and then I was right. In that sense, it was a little bit predictable, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just an observation that I kind of wish the surprise was a little bit more surprising. But what does seem to be surprising is the success of Wonder Woman. The DC and WB executives are surprised that this movie was such a success, much less good. It seems they kind of didn't know what to do with that. Their ad campaigns were pretty weak aside from a Diet Dr. Pepper commercial. And now that they finally have a very successful movie on their hands, it seems they don't really know what to do with that. Also, I'm wondering if, because the executives weren't expecting this movie to be as good, that they didn't micromanage it as they did with, say, Batman vs. Superman or Suicide Squad. As you heard a lot of stories about the producers kind of coming in and micromanaging everything, wanting to change things, and that was one of the problems with both of those movies, with Batman vs. Superman and with Suicide Squad, that it was just kind of came out as like a jumbled mess. And that doesn't seem to be the case with Wonder Woman. You had Patty Jenkins directing it and leading it and doing a fantastic job with this film. So I just want to give a very enthusiastic thank you to Patty Jenkins and to Gal Gadot for finally giving a movie that I can be excited about in the DC cinematic extended universe. It's very refreshing to watch a DC movie, to watch characters that I remember from my childhood, from watching Justice League and Justice Friends, to seeing that character brought to life on screen finally, and it being such a strong movie and such a strong addition, finally a strong addition to the DC cinematic universe. There's been tons of jokes and memes about how Wonder Woman basically saved the DC cinematic universe, and that's very true, because as far as I'm concerned, the movies that they've put out have sucked. So thank you, Patty Jenkins, and thank you, Gal Gadot, for finally giving a strong movie and giving a strong representation of Wonder Woman. What were your thoughts on Wonder Woman? Let me know in the comments, and follow me on all the internets. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it so others can join in the conversation. Check out my Patreon if you want to support more of my future content, and subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching and have fun. So Captain America, Thor, Hulk.